Discovery of the abandoned alien. The starship Curiosity drifted silently through the inky void, its hull gleaming under the light of an unfamiliar sun. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the barren planet growing larger in the view screen. "Scanners show no signs of intelligent life, Captain," reported Lieutenant Raj Patel from his station. "But there are some unusual energy readings near the equator." Sarah nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Looks like we might have something interesting after all. Prepare a landing party." Hours later, Sarah led a team of 5 across the planet's rust-colored surface. The air was thin but breathable, and a constant wind whipped sand against their protective suits. Dr. Emily Wong, the ship's xenobiologist, walked beside Sarah, her instruments sweeping the area for any signs of life. "Captain, I'm picking up faint biosignals about 2 kilometers east," Emily said, her voice crackling through the comm system. "It's unlike anything in our database." The team changed course, trudging through the desolate landscape. As they crested a low hill, they saw it, a massive scaled creature lying motionless in a shallow crater. Its body was easily the size of a small shuttle, with iridescent scales dulled by dust, and what looked like dried blood. "My God," whispered Sarah, her eyes wide with awe and a hint of fear. Emily rushed forward, her scanner whirring. "It's alive, but barely. These wounds, it looks like it was attacked by energy weapons of some kind." The creature's eyes flickered open, revealing pupils that contracted to thin slits in the harsh sunlight. It let out a low, rumbling groan that Sarah felt in her bones. "We need to help it," Emily said, already reaching for her medical kit. "Hold on," interrupted Security Chief Michael Torres. "We don't know what this thing is capable of. It could be dangerous." Sarah held up a hand, silencing the brewing argument. She approached the creature slowly, her heart pounding. Its eyes followed her, filled with pain and something else. Intelligence. Fear. She made her decision. "We're helping it. Emily, what do you need?" As Emily rattled off a list of supplies, Michael shook his head. "Captain, with all due respect, this is insane. We should contact Galactic Command. Let them handle this." Sarah turned to face her team. "Look at it, Michael. Really look. This isn't just some animal. There's intelligence there, and it's suffering." She gestured at the desolate landscape around them. "Whatever did this left it here to die, alone and in pain. Is that who we want to be? Is that what humanity stands for?" The team fell silent, looking between their captain and the wounded alien. Finally, Emily spoke up. "I'm with the captain. We can't just leave it." One by one, the others nodded their agreement. Even Michael relented, though he kept one hand near his weapon. Sarah activated her comm link. "Curiosity, this is Chen. We're going to need emergency medical supplies and heavy lifting equipment. And prepare the cargo bay. We're bringing aboard a guest." As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the alien landscape, the humans worked tirelessly. They cleaned wounds, applied synthetic skin grafts, and rigged up a makeshift gurney large enough to transport the creature. Throughout it all, the alien watched them with those intelligent eyes. It made no move to resist their aid, but Sarah could sense its wariness. Whatever this being was, it had clearly suffered at the hands of other spacefaring races. Just before they prepared to transport the creature to the ship, Sarah approached it once more. She placed a hand gently on its scales, feeling the slow, steady rhythm of its breathing. "I don't know if you can understand me," she said softly, "but we're here to help. You're safe now." The alien's massive eye blinked once, slowly, and though Sarah knew it was likely just her imagination, she could have sworn she saw a flicker of gratitude in its gaze. As the transport beams engulfed them, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They were about to bring an unknown alien life form aboard their ship, a being that, until today, no human had ever encountered. It was a monumental moment, one that could change the course of human history. But more than that, Sarah thought, it was simply the right thing to do. In a vast and often cruel universe, they had chosen compassion. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew in her heart that they had made the right choice. The alien's massive form shimmered and disappeared, bound for the Curiosity. And with it, humanity took its first steps into a wider, more complex galaxy, one where their capacity for empathy might prove to be their greatest strength. The rescue mission begins. The cargo bay of the Curiosity hummed with activity as the massive alien creature materialized on the reinforced floor. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the ready, flanked by Dr. Emily Wong, and a team of engineers and medical staff. "Stabilize its life support first," Emily ordered, her voice calm despite the unprecedented situation. "Let's start with atmospheric composition similar to the planet's surface and adjust from there." As the team worked, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the alien's size and complexity. Its scales, now cleaned of dust and blood, shimmered with an otherworldly iridescence. The creature's breathing was labored but steady, its massive chest rising and falling in a hypnotic rhythm. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Paddle from a nearby console, "I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from the alien. Nothing dangerous, but it's like nothing I've ever seen before." Sarah nodded, filing away the information for later. Right now, their priority was keeping the creature alive. Hours passed as Emily and her team worked tirelessly to treat the alien's wounds. The creature remained surprisingly docile throughout the process, its intelligent eyes following their movements with what Sarah could only describe as curiosity. "It's remarkable," Emily said during a brief break, wiping sweat from her brow. "Its cellular structure, its biology. It's so advanced, yet so fundamentally different from anything we've encountered. Treating it is like performing surgery on a living starship." Sarah smiled at the analogy. "How's it doing?" "Better, I think. But Captain, we're going to need more supplies. Some of its internal organs are beyond our ability to repair with what we have on board." Sarah's smile faded. She knew what that meant. They would need to contact Galactic Command and potentially other alien races for assistance. The very thought made her uneasy. Would others be as willing to help this creature as they were? As if sensing her concerns, the alien let out a low, melodious sound. It wasn't quite speech, but it carried a clear sense of gratitude. Sarah approached it slowly, placing a hand on its newly healed scales. "You're welcome," she said softly. "We'll find a way to help you. I promise." The creature's eye blinked slowly, and Sarah felt a sudden warmth spread through her mind. Images flashed before her eyes: strange alien cities, vast starfields, and a sense of profound loss. As quickly as it came, the sensation faded, leaving Sarah gasping. "Captain, are you all right?" Emily rushed to her side, scanner in hand. Sarah waved her off, her mind reeling. "I'm fine, I think it tried to communicate with me." Over the next few days, the crew of the Curiosity fell into a rhythm of caring for their unusual guest. Engineers rigged up a more comfortable containment area in the cargo bay, complete with a pool of nutrient-rich liquid that seemed to soothe the alien's wounds. Emily and her team worked around the clock, synthesizing new medicines and refining their treatment protocols. Throughout it all, the alien remained calm and cooperative. It began to respond to simple gestures and even attempted to mimic some of the crew's movements, despite its massive size and alien physiology. A week into their rescue mission, Sarah received the call she'd been dreading. Admiral Kor's stern face appeared on her ready room's view screen. "Captain Chen, explain to me why you've commandeered a research vessel to play nursemaid to an unknown alien life form," the Admiral said, his tone icy. Sarah straightened her uniform and met his gaze. "Sir, we encountered a critically injured sentient being. Helping it was not only the right thing to do morally, but it also presents an unprecedented opportunity for first contact and scientific advancement." Admiral Kor's frown deepened. "You're lucky Galactic Command agrees with you, Captain. For now. But be warned, There are concerns about your new friend. Several alien races have expressed alarm at the news of its discovery. They claim this creature belongs to a dangerous, extinct species. Sarah's mind raced back to the vision the alien had shared, the lost cities, the sense of profound sorrow. With all due respect, Admiral, I don't believe this being poses any threat to us. In fact, I think it might be the last of its kind. Perhaps, Kor said, his expression softening slightly. In any case, you have authorization to continue your mission for now. A support vessel with additional supplies and personnel will rendezvous with you in 3 days. Until then, Captain, be careful. As the transmission ended, Sarah leaned back in her chair, a mix of relief and apprehension washing over her. They had bought some time, but she couldn't shake the feeling that their troubles were only beginning. In the cargo bay, the alien stirred in its nutrient bath, its scales rippling with colors that seemed to mirror the swirling nebula visible through the ship's viewports. As Sarah watched on a monitor, Emily approached the creature, datapad in hand. To everyone's amazement, the alien extended one of its massive appendages, gently touching the datapad screen. Lines of complex equations and diagrams began to appear, faster than any human could input them. Captain, Emily's excited voice came through the comm. I think it's trying to teach us something about faster-than-light travel. Sarah felt a smile spread across her face. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that humanity's compassion had opened the door to something truly extraordinary. The rescue mission had become something far greater, the beginning of a partnership that could reshape their understanding of the universe itself. Unraveling the alien's past. The curiosity hummed with excitement as news of the alien's mathematical revelations spread through the crew. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the cargo bay, watching as Dr. Emily Wong and a team of scientists pored over the equations the creature had provided. It's revolutionary, Emily explained, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. These formulas could potentially increase our FTL efficiency by at least 300%, and that's just scratching the surface. Sarah nodded, her gaze drawn to the alien. It floated serenely in its nutrient bath, its wounds now mostly healed. Have we made any progress in direct communication? As if in response, the alien's scales rippled with a cascade of colors. Sarah felt that now familiar warmth in her mind, and suddenly she was elsewhere. She stood on a world of crystal spires and sweeping arches, a city that put humanity's greatest achievements to shame. Beings similar to their alien guest moved gracefully through the air, their iridescent scales shimmering in the light of 3 suns. But the vision shifted, darkened. Sarah watched in horror as energy weapons tore through the beautiful structures. The peaceful beings fought back, their own technology far advanced, but they were overwhelmed by sheer numbers. The scene changed again. The small group of the aliens, their once bright scales now dull with exhaustion and grief, worked frantically in a hidden laboratory. They were encoding something, their history, their knowledge, into the very genetic structure of one of their young. With a gasp, Sarah found herself back in the cargo bay. Emily was at her side, concern etched on her face. Captain, are you all right? Sarah took a deep breath, steadying herself. I'm fine, but I think I just saw. It's history. Emily, I don't think this is just the last of its kind. I think it's a living archive of an entire civilization. Before Emily could respond, the ship's alarms blared to life. Lieutenant Patel's voice came over the comm system, tense and urgent. Captain to the bridge. We've got multiple ships dropping out of FTL. They're hailing us and charging weapons. Sarah sprinted to the bridge, her mind racing. As she burst onto the command deck, the view screen flickered to life, revealing the stern-faced alien. Its features were avian, with sharp eyes and a hooked beak. This is Executor Jal of the Galactic Concord, the alien said, its voice harsh and grating. You are harboring a Class Omega threat. Surrender the World Ender immediately, or we will open fire. Sarah's eyes narrowed. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Curiosity. We are on a peaceful mission of scientific discovery. The being you refer to as a world ender is under our protection. It has shown no signs of hostility. Zhal's beak clacked in what might have been laughter. You knave humans. That creature is the last of a race that nearly destroyed the galaxy eons ago. Its kind wiped out entire civilizations on a whim. We cannot allow it to live. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine, remembering the visions of destruction she had witnessed. But she also remembered the sorrow, the desperation of the survivors. This wasn't the whole story. Executor Zhal, she said, her voice firm, I respectfully disagree with your assessment. We've seen evidence that this being's species was the victim of genocide, not the perpetrator. We request time to investigate further before any action is taken. Zhal's eyes narrowed. You have one planetary rotation to surrender the world ender. After that, we will take it by force. The transmission cut off abruptly. Sarah turned to her crew, seeing a mix of fear and determination on their faces. Options, people. I need them now. As the bridge erupted into a flurry of activity, Sarah felt a familiar presence in her mind. This time, instead of visions, she heard words, the first direct communication from the alien. I am sorry, the voice said, ancient and filled with sorrow. I did not mean to bring danger to you. Sarah closed her eyes, focusing on the connection. It's not your fault. Can you tell us more about what happened to your people? Why do they call you World Ender? A flood of images and emotions washed over her. Sarah saw a peaceful race, masters of energy and matter, exploring the galaxy with wonder and joy. But their advanced technology frightened younger races. Misunderstandings led to conflict, and in defending themselves, the aliens inadvertently destroyed several worlds. Labeled as monsters, they were hunted to near extinction. In a final act of desperation, they poured all their knowledge and history into a single survivor, hoping that one day someone would listen to their story. Sarah opened her eyes, tears streaming down her face. She looked at her crew, her voice thick with emotion. We can't let them take it. This isn't just about one life. It's about preserving the legacy of an entire civilization, one that was wrongly condemned. Emily stepped forward. Captain, the alien's been sharing technology with us. Maybe we can use some of it to defend ourselves. Sarah nodded slowly, a plan forming in her mind. All right, here's what we're going to do. Emily, work with engineering to implement as many of those improvements as you can. Lieutenant Patel, send a message to Earth and any friendly aliens in range. We need witnesses and support. She turned to the view screen, where the galactic Concord ships loomed ominously. And someone get me Admiral Core. If we're going to prevent an interstellar incident, we'll need all the diplomatic backup we can get. As the crew rushed to their tasks, Sarah felt the alien's presence in her mind once more. Thank you, it said simply, a wave of gratitude accompanying the words. Sarah smiled, despite the gravity of the situation. You're welcome. Now let's see if we can rewrite some galactic history, shall we? The Curiosity hummed with renewed purpose as human and alien worked side by side, racing against time to preserve a legacy and perhaps forge a new understanding between species. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of their alien guest, but potentially the course of human history in the wider galaxy. Defending the alien. The bridge of the Curiosity was a hive of focused activity as the deadline set by Executor Zhal approached. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the center, her posture tense but determined. Status report, she ordered, her eyes fixed on the looming shapes of the galactic Concord ships on the view screen. Lieutenant Patel spoke up first. We've managed to implement some of the aliens' FTL improvements. Our maneuverability has increased by 200%, but weapons are still standard. Dr. Emily Wong chimed in next. The alien is stable and eager to help. It's been feeding us more information, but there's so much we still don't understand. Sarah nodded, a plan forming in her mind. All right, our priority is to buy time. We need to convince the Concord that this situation is more complex than they realize. As if on cue, the comm system crackled to life. Executor Zhao's harsh voice filled the bridge. Your time is up, humans. Surrender the world ender now, or face the consequences. Sarah took a deep breath and opened the channel. Executor Zhao, we respectfully decline. We have reason to believe that the being you call World Ender is a victim of a tragic misunderstanding. We request a neutral third party to mediate this situation. Zhao's response was immediate and furious. Enough of your stalling tactics. We will not allow that monster to. Suddenly, Zhao's image on the view screen flickered and split. A new face appeared, the stern visage of Admiral Kor. This is Admiral Kor of Earth Fleet Command, he announced, his voice carrying the weight of authority. We have received the Curiosity's data and find the request for mediation reasonable. The United Earth government formally requests a full hearing before the Galactic Council on this matter. Sarah felt a surge of relief, quickly tempered by Zhao's visible anger. You overstep your bounds, humans, Zhao hissed. This matter was settled eons before your species even learned to make fire. We will not. Again, Zhao was interrupted, this time by a series of new signals. The view screen fragmented further, showing representatives from various alien races, some familiar to Sarah, others completely unknown. A willowy plant-like being spoke in a melodious voice. The Photosynthians stand with Earth in this matter. We too have seen evidence that challenges the old stories of the World Enders. Another alien, this one appearing as a shimmering cloud of gas, added its voice. The Nebula Collective concurs. There is much about our galactic history that remains unclear. This being may hold vital knowledge. As more voices joined in, supporting the call for investigation and mediation, Sarah felt a familiar presence in her mind. The alien's voice, grow stronger with each passing day, resonated in her thoughts. Your kindness has awakened hope long dormant, it said. Perhaps now, the truth can finally be known. Executor Zhao, faced with mounting opposition, sputtered in rage. This is outrageous. That creature and its kind are too dangerous to. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Curiosity. Lieutenant Patil shouted, Captain, energy spike from the Concorde flagship. They're powering weapons. Sarah's mind raced. They were out of time. Evasive maneuvers. Activate the new shields. The Curiosity lurched as it dove, narrowly avoiding a searing beam of energy from Zhao's ship. The shields, enhanced by the alien's technology, flared brilliantly but held. Return fire, Sarah ordered, her heart pounding. Target their weapons only. As the space around them erupted into chaos, Sarah felt a sudden, overwhelming presence in her mind. It wasn't just the alien this time. Somehow, it was connecting her to every mind on the ship, and even to some of the alien representatives. Through this unprecedented link, knowledge flowed. Sarah saw strands of possibility, paths through the battle that no human tactician could have conceived. Without fully understanding how, she began issuing orders with preternatural precision. Adjust shield frequency to 4.3 terahertz. Rotate axial thrusters 27 degrees port. Fire graviton pulse at these coordinates. The crew, also empowered by this shared consciousness, moved with perfect synchronization. The Curiosity danced through the battlefield, its movements fluid and unpredictable. Each shot from the human ship struck with pinpoint accuracy, disabling rather than destroying their attackers. On the view screen, the gathered representatives watched in awe as the supposedly primitive human vessel outmaneuvered the feared Galactic Concorde fleet. Admiral Kor's voice cut through the chaos. Executor Zhao, stand down immediately. Your actions are in violation of multiple galactic treaties. Zhao, his ship now drifting powerless, snarled in defeat. This isn't over, humans. That creature will show its true nature eventually, and when it does, the transmission cut off abruptly. Sarah sagged in her chair, the alien presence gently withdrawing from her mind. Around her, the crew blinked in bewilderment, coming to terms with what they had just experienced. "Captain," Emily said, her voice filled with wonder. "What just happened?" Sarah smiled tiredly. "I think we just got a glimpse of what our new friend is truly capable of, and why some might fear that power." She straightened in her chair. "But we also showed them something important. That power doesn't have to be used for destruction. It can be used to protect, to unite." As the adrenaline of battle faded, Sarah realized that they had crossed a threshold. The galaxy now knew that humanity was a force to be reckoned with, not because of their weapons or technology, but because of their compassion and their willingness to stand up for what they believed was right. The alien's voice whispered in her mind one last time before fading. "You have done more than save a life, Sarah Chen. You have opened the door to a new era of understanding. The journey ahead will not be easy, but it holds great promise." Sarah looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of that promise. Whatever came next, she knew that humanity was ready to face it, with their new alien ally by their side, and with the power of empathy as their greatest strength. A new future together. In the weeks following the confrontation with the Galactic Concord, the Curiosity found itself at the center of a diplomatic whirlwind. The ship had been recalled to Earth, where it now orbited the blue planet, a symbol of humanity's sudden and dramatic emergence onto the galactic stage. Captain Sarah Chen stood in a specially designed conference room, her alien friend floating serenely in a large transparent chamber filled with nutrient-rich liquid. Around them, holographic projections flickered, showing representatives from dozens of alien races and human diplomats. "And so," Sarah concluded, addressing the assembled gathering, "we propose the establishment of a new interstellar body, one dedicated not just to peacekeeping, but to understanding and preserving the diverse histories and cultures of all sapient species." The alien's scales rippled with approval, and Sarah felt a gentle touch in her mind. Over the past weeks, their ability to communicate had grown stronger, more nuanced. Now, the alien could share not just images and emotions, but complex ideas. "Tell them," it urged silently, "about the archives." Sarah nodded, taking a deep breath. "Furthermore, our friend here, whom we now know as the archivist, has agreed to share the vast repository of knowledge stored within its genetic code. This includes scientific advancements far beyond our current understanding, historical records dating back millions of years, and cultural information from countless extinct civilizations." A murmur ran through the assembled diplomats. The avian representative of the Galactic Concord, a more moderate replacement for the disgraced Executor Zal, leaned forward. "And how can we trust that this information is not tainted? That it won't lead us down the same destructive path as the archivist's species?" Dr. Emily Wong stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement. "That's where we come in. Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to learn, to adapt, to see things from new perspectives. We propose a collaborative effort, with input and oversight from all willing species, to study and implement this knowledge responsibly." The willow-like photosynthian representative swayed gently, an intriguing proposal. "But what safeguards can be put in place?" Sarah gestured to a group of human and alien scientists huddled around a complex holographic display. "We're already working on that. Using a combination of our technology and principles gleaned from the archivist's database, we're developing a system of ethical AI oversight. This system will help us navigate the potential pitfalls of advanced technology, ensuring we use this knowledge for the benefit of all." As the discussion continued, delving into the specifics of the proposal, Sarah felt a swell of pride. This was humanity at its best, facing the unknown with curiosity and compassion, building bridges where others saw only chasms. Hours later, as the conference wound down, Sarah found herself alone with the archivist. The alien's massive eye regarded her warmly. "You have done well, Sarah Chen," its voice resonated in her mind. "Your species continues to surprise and impress me." Sarah smiled, placing a hand on the transparent chamber. "We couldn't have done it without you." You took a chance on us, trusting us with your legacy. The archivist's scales shimmered with what Sarah had come to recognize as amusement, perhaps, but it was your initial act of kindness, choosing to help a wounded stranger despite the risk, that made all of this possible. Never underestimate the power of compassion, Sarah. It may well be the most potent force in the universe. As if to underscore the archivist's words, a notification chimed softly. Sarah checked her datapad, and her eyes widened. The vote just came in. It's unanimous. The Galactic Council has approved our proposal. The archivist's joy radiated through their mental link. Then our work is just beginning. Are you ready, Sarah Chen, to help guide your species into a new era? Sarah looked out the viewport at the Earth below, then at the stars beyond. She thought of all the wonders and challenges that lay ahead of the incredible journey they were about to embark upon. Her heart swelled with a mixture of excitement and determination. Ready as we'll ever be, she said with a grin. Let's make history. In the days and years that followed, humanity would take its place among the stars not as conquerors or subjects, but as partners and peacekeepers. The knowledge shared by the archivist would usher in a new age of exploration and discovery, while the lessons learned from its people's tragic history would serve as a constant reminder of the importance of understanding and cooperation. Across the galaxy, new alliances were forged. Long-standing conflicts were re-examined in light of forgotten histories, and on countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes looked to the skies with a renewed sense of wonder and hope. The universe, vast and ancient as it was, had been changed by a simple act of kindness. A wounded alien, a curious human crew, and the power of empathy had opened the door to a future brighter than any had dared to imagine. As the Curiosity prepared for its next mission, this time as the flagship of the newly formed Galactic Cooperation and Preservation Fleet, Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, the archivist's comforting presence in her mind. Together, they gazed out at the glittering expanse of stars, each one a potential adventure, a new civilization to understand, or an ancient mystery to unravel. The journey ahead would not be easy. There would be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But as long as they held true to the principles that had brought them this far, curiosity, compassion, and the unwavering belief in the potential for growth and understanding, Sarah knew that humanity, and all the species of the galaxy, would face the future united. And so, with hope in their hearts and the spirit of exploration guiding their way, they set forth into the unknown, ready to write the next chapter in the grand cosmic story of life among the stars.